Well, hello there, everyone. How you doing? It's Monday, and welcome. Thanks for stopping in your day as you continue your journey through your life path. May it be as adventurous as you had anticipated. I just want to invoke favor upon all those who listen. May favor be found to be a constant companion with you always. And may peace, its twin, reign supreme in your abode. Nothing like having peace in your own home. Ain't that a truth? So, nothing missing and nothing broken either be found in your life. Full restoration force. And all of us can use restoration in one form or the other, no doubt about it. So how is everybody? Let me just see. Hey, all the moderators. That's Brad and True Helper, Lori, good to see you. Cheesesteak, hello. I love Beethoven. Well, so do I. Hello, how are you? Heidi, good to see you. Big Dog, West Side, I love it. West Side Story, great song. Sarah Kay, hello. Arya, good to see you. Franny, how are you, hon? Good to see you. Kristen, good to see you. Anne, Claire, Moonlight, J.H. Armstrong. Hello, Steve, Slantly Slighted Sleuth. Cheryl, boy, Troy, Truth Seeker, Gilbert. Kaz, how are you? Saw you on your interview with Brian over on the Milky Way Weekly. Good deal. Some great pictures there, Kaz. We've got to get you on. Particularly when you can stay up till 2, 3, or 4 o'clock in the morning. Yeah, that is a champion, folks. I just have to say. So, Doris, how are you doing? Good to see you. Moonlight Herbalist. I love that. Hello, how are you? Let's see. Is that Abjuba? Let's see. Ojaboa 27. Hello. If I butchered that, my apologies. Brad, how you doing, buddy? So, Tim, hello. Zora, Karen, hello. Boy, Great Scott, just saying, shoots for par. I tell you, folks are the best. Terry, good to see you, and consciously aware isn't how we want everyone to be. So, man, every day it gets more interesting. I'm going to start out right from the get-go. I got a lot of viewer videos to show you today. And so this was sent in, and I think she couldn't send it in. And pardon me for looking at the text, because I'm just looking for this. Anyway, I don't know if I have permission to tell you who they are, but it doesn't matter. Look what they caught. This is pretty cool stuff. So watch it grow. Look at that. I haven't had a chance to really get too much into this, but yeah, that's a rather odd, as they would say. It's like, well, how did that happen? But trust me, that isn't by itself. There is even more. So let me get this correct. I want to make sure I get this, folks. So give me 1 second. To the person who sent this to me. I believe this is Roman who sent this. So now that I got that correct, give me 1 second and allow me to pull up his video, because this one, folks, you're going to just love this. So let me get it, as they would say, racked up for everybody. Roman, I wrote you and wrote me back. And so now that I got this up, and said that there was, I'll explain to you as we watch this. So I think this is Romania, I believe. check that out, folks. Now, they can say that this is a multiple refraction of the ice crystals, which are refracting, not reflecting, but refracting from the sun in its trek back south, because this is in supposedly, and we're seeing what you see in the Arctic region. And I don't think Romedia, if I remember correct, is there, but I could be wrong on the location. If I am, I'll seek it. But check this out, folks. Look at that. I mean, that's wild. I think I counted 5 sundogs in this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah. Look at that. I'm going to play this a couple of times, so we'll stop it here. So right up here, what you can't see, but we get just a little glimpse. He said that it was a upside down rainbow. So, but look at that. There we go. Check that out. Now that's some wild photons bouncing around in the old ionosphere, huh? Or so they say. Look at that. Light bending in so many different directions. We're going to have Dr. Albers take a look at this as well. Look at that, folks. Let's just stop it right here. I mean, didn't that look familiar to the first video? That one, I think, was here. The first one was from in the US. Look at that. Look at this. And yet you can see it almost look like there's another one. I mean, I don't know how far the sun is supposed to refract on the horizon, but 360 degrees would certainly give the flat earth people some room here, wouldn't it? Amazing. All the different sundogs. Look at that. It just so intense. I want to stop it right. Look at that. Wow. I just want to have us all just meditate on that. Imagine if you walked outside your front door and that's what you saw in the east. I think that's the setting sun. No, rising sun. Look at that. Wow. Yeah, so there you go. Strange things a happening, as they would say. But I have yet more. As he's looking, I am pulling these up. You have to give me a second. So obviously, we can see from that video alone, there's some strange things going on. This one, yeah. Here we go. Look at this one. Now that's some weird lensing. This is Colorado. That's just flat out weird. Hexagon formations in the Earth's atmosphere, light rays bending what? What makes this one even more odd, look at that. This is hexagon. Cameras aren't hexagon. I mean, even the lens apparatus. But this is not a lens apparatus. It's not a anomaly on the back aperture of the housing of the lens. No, folks, this is directly in the sky. That one is, I'm going to try to get it extreme up here. I don't know. Looks like there's something definitely. I'm just looking at the cloud there to. Yeah, so there you go. Just, it's amazing, folks. It's very, very weird, they say. I feel like hearing Queen. Very, very frightening. But yeah, go figure. That's just some of the most interesting anomalies being caught by people like you. When I was spending a lot of time out in filming the sky, it was quite amazing what you capture, because the fact is, most people do not spend time looking up in the firmament. They don't. They just, well, most people look down. It's what they do. And, there's nothing wrong with that. It's just how most of us are. So, anyway, I was looking for one other one, and I cannot find it. But trust me, we will take a full look at this tonight with Dr. Albers. So, all right. So we got about 314 people in here right now, 317. Folks, I am really happy to announce, and we're working out the details as far as the exact time, maybe this week, but it will definitely be within the next 10 days or so. Like I said, I think it may be this week. There are a couple of people who have really influenced me. When I finally got out of the God spell, and that was a withdrawal process, no different than withdrawal from any type of opiate or other type of mind control. It just, because it's the ultimate type of mind control. And you do suffer withdrawals from that. And it's just the way it is. Many, unfortunately, just give up believing in anything. But fortunately, there's resources now that are valid, credible, and are really helpful. So Alan Watts is, I would have to say, my philosopher. He was my teacher. He was my mentor. He was my instructor. And Lawrence, I hope that was just, yeah, someone, thank you, Steve. Appreciate that. That should go into timeout. Here we learn to respect everybody, and we are sensitive to the fact that some verbiage is offensive. And we know that in this community that we have the mastery of the English language. We have those who can master many languages. So always remember respect. Always respect, folks. So Alan Watts. Alan helped me begin to build the peers. His approach to life, that which we call God and beyond, is remarkable. And he's featured here. So there is another individual who I just have to say, his books were the concrete that I laid in the foundation, because his books are spectacular. In fact, you can see this one's been in my library for a number of years. It's one that I refer to, quite often. And so I have something here I'll share with you as we can see who I'm talking about. I'm talking about Mr. David Fitzgerald. Happy to have him as a guest. Again, we are working on getting him on the proper time, and I don't know why that's not working. Things sometimes on Zoom they just don't go as they say. Well, anyway, as you can see, let me do the stop on this. We'll just put that to timeout. So David Fitzgerald nailed 10 Christian myths that shows Jesus never existed at all. His subsequent books, and give me a second here, I want to see if this one will actually come up. I'm not sure if it will. Yeah, here we go. So this is the book. Allow me again. Zoom, you developers, you guys need to put a better interface here in sharing. Jesus, mything in action. Folks, if any of you are struggling to really think that there was ever a physical person named Jesus, then you found your place for your final phase of awakening. This is a tremendous book. This is the follow-up to Nailed, and David will get more into this. I just want to bring something out to him. You know, there is just a number of his books, because, again, as he got into this, it just became so long, and the research that it had to be in 3 volumes. And I'm looking forward to having him in here. And he says, so this is dedicated with love to all the people who over the years have said to me, oh, I know he wasn't the Son of God, but I'm sure there really was a Jesus. And all the people who confided in me that they always suspected there wasn't. And dear friends, there wasn't. Never was. It is the biggest single myth perpetrated upon our species. And we'll get into more of David's books. But folks, it's once when you begin to really finally peel all the layers back, you find out what this really was. And it's hard for a lot of people to accept that there's no savior coming to save you or humanity. Sorry, but no, never was, never will be. And when you begin to find out, and the problem is you've got those who, again, acknowledge, well, okay, I get the deity thing, but you know, there really was a rabbi that, no, there wasn't. Wasn't even one named Yeshua. It's all made up. And David will get into the genesis of this. And so when we get the dates, if you've got family, friends, lovers, husbands, wives, children that have been struggling under this myth, this mind control, then you need to put this on your calendar when we get the dates nailed down. And because it will be one of the most in-depth, mind-blowing, mind awareness hour that you will spend. Trust me. And if you've never read the books, go on Amazon. They're there. Kindle. If you're a Kindle user or Prime member, you can actually, I think, get this under the shared for free. So I recommend this to people all the time who are struggling, people who are coming out of many of the different denominations. And hopefully most of them do read it. The ones who have always come back and thank me. It kind of just really sets you free. So Yeah. Anyway, there we go. uh, it's all just made up. It's a Shakespearean story that we bought. It's got all the drama you need in a Shakespearean story, all the plots, everything. When I remember in school, I was taught theater, and there's only three kinds of drama. How many of you know the three kinds of drama? All movies, everything, every book, everything is predicated on the three principles of theater, of drama, and that is, it is man against man against nature, or man against man himself. Excuse me, man against himself. Every story that's ever been written, it's all in those three categories. So this case, it was a story that they went to extraordinary lengths. And the fraud it's just amazing. It's right there in front of you. You've read it, you studied it. If you come out from that religion, and when you see it, you do this number. Oh, crap. As I tell people, I'll give you a little sneak peek because I know when David comes on. So here's one of it that I challenge anybody. I'll give you $100 if you can show me the document, the original document. Because remember, the story never happened. But in the fictitious story, we have this governor of Rome and his proctor. And it is said that he nailed a sign above the crucified body, the three names of this supposed person. Seems like the writer forgot to add those three names in there, didn't he? Wouldn't have that cleared up a lot of confusion? Yeah. Uh-huh. There we go. That's just one of many. You want another one? I'll give you another one. But this one you're going to have to hunt for. But I'll set you the scene. This is the play. We enter in scene 3. We call this the audience. And our main character is a guy named Paul, who is speaking before a real king, King Agrippa. And in this story, which is recorded in the book of Acts, Paul is having a dialogue and discourse with Agrippa and Felix, the governor, and telling him the whole story. And, Agrippa looks at him and says, Paul, you're out of your freaking mind. That's what we would say today. It's like, man, dude, I don't know what you've been smoking or what you've been dropping, but man, you are out of here, brother. And Paul comes back and says, oh, no, 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 no. Let me tell you the story. Now, I'm sure that this had to be an amusement because, we love being entertained. Are you entertained? Great movie. So Paul goes on to say, gives this whole conversion story, which is either an alien abduction story, a person who is suffering from a brain tumor, which would cause potentially seizures, maybe epileptic. But either case, as the story goes, he meets this ET, and this ET. Now, here's where they really messed up. Says his name. Now, I always found it interesting when they translated this, the exact quote is this. And he said, and I asked who this being was. And this being in the Hebrew tongue says, Paul, I am Jesus. The Hebrew tongue? Jesus? You see, and they got those lapses all through it. Another great one is the Gospel of Mark, a fictitious gospel, as they all are. But this one is even more so, because they blatantly open up this can of worms. I didn't do it, they did. It's the famous Mark 16, 9 through 16, which was admitted right there. But this was added many centuries later. I don't know who wrote it. Never was a guy named Mark. So anyway, David's gone. I've gone most of the show and on that's no, I haven't actually. It's been very short. So so looking forward to this, and we'll I'll make sure that's on there. All right. So got some things I want to also, I believe in promoting amongst us. There are just great people all around. This is from the codesearcher.com channel. You can see it over here. Go over and check them out. Thecodesearcher.com. That's a Bigfoot. I know you may say it looks fake. I've watched the video, and I'll just give you one other little peek on this. There you go. Check it out. Go over there. Any of you that are into, the body, anatomy, yep, that's what it looks like. That's the real deal. That's exactly how you would look at this creature. Would be probably in excess of 12, maybe 15 feet. But look at it, folks. It's, yeah. So check that out for sure. All right. Now, I also want to give a shout out to Joseph Ridenour. Joseph, man, you remind me of Brian and so many others, that you have a voice, you have wisdom, and you need to get over the shyness and speak your wisdom. You have a lot of good wisdom, my friend. And folks, go over and consider subscribing to Joseph. He's got 10 subscribers. I think that we can multiply that easily by a factor of 10. And give him a chance. Listen to him. Be open-minded. Listen to as many voices you can. You never know what it's going to be like on the other side. I question, how do you think you're going to hear something telepathically when you don't believe it right now? How are you going to know to speak telepathically if you don't do it now? So, Joseph, way to go, dude. High five for you on here. All right, folks, this is the coolest program. Actually, Suspicious Observers, Ben left the link on this. I'll leave the link for those who would want it. It's legacysurvey.org. Folks, this is so freaking cool, the interactive tool that they give you on this. So we can begin to really look at all of our Milky Way. This is just us. And you can find anything you want. Give me 1 second. I need to hide that. So over here, I can go like here, right? And I can continue to zoom in. And when you see the clarity of this, it gets better. It's just catching up because of the live broadcast. There it goes. Let me see. Okay, so watch this one. Folks, check this out. The clarity is, as you can see, is this not just the coolest thing? It gets even better. So let me pull back out. And you can do this on any object in our galaxy. I just happened to pick out some of the brighter objects. Here, let's go over here onto our little friend here. And you can actually go over here. It'll tell you where this is. You can actually single out the image. Watch this. I'm still having fun with this one. Isn't it amazing? So let's get into what I found most amazing. And again, you just pull back out as far as you want. So let's see. Give it a second. Watch this. You can just do any region you want. And it just continues. So now I want to get to the one I know I'm playing out here, but this is fun. So check this out, folks. That, ladies and gentlemen, is the ecliptic. And we are I think it's this one, the center of our galaxy. There it is. So you can get these different, look at that. Is this not just cool? Excuse me, I hit it too fast, too hard. Here we go. So we can begin to see, and Dr. Albers and I, look at this, folks. These are other solar systems, other star systems. It just becomes fascinating. I'll leave a link and I'll get on with the show, but I just found this like the coolest thing ever, ever, I'm telling you. And is you can get out here in more, you can get it into different lights. Give me 1 second here. So anyway, I'll get out of this and move on along. It's pretty cool. Hey, medicines, pharmaceuticals actually making us sick. Imagine that. Um, this is something that, well, what's going on? I don't know. I've watched the videos. I've had a lot of people, because we have a lot of viewers who live in the Middle East, a lot in Saudi Arabia and other adjoining neighboring nations. And there's something going on. I mean, this infestation of both crickets, locusts, it was apparently just almost like the plagues of Egypt. They were everywhere. These are the locusts. These are the crickets. They just said they were everywhere. There was no place you could not go where they weren't. So Saudi Arabia is seeing that whole region in there. Weather-wise, obviously, this could be just as a result because of the wet pattern of the jet stream that it moved over Saudi Arabia and that part of the world, and maybe this is just a result of that. But nevertheless, it's pretty strange. Here's something for all the paranoid folks that just want to have more paranoia. Rising magma under Yellowstone. Yeah, I think that's, they're connecting this now to the pole shift. I don't know, uh, another chaos coming with the government shutdown. That may be true. We are in some strange places. I'm going to get into this a little bit later on some of the things that we're doing. So here's an interesting concept for all of us cosmic buffs. So spacecraft powered by steam. Yes, there is an amazing amount of water out there. And this would give these spacecraft unlimited supply of fuel. Strange indeed. I spoke about this earlier, but I wanted to show this again. This is getting a little bit more traction. These superbugs. They're saying that we're not getting the full story of some of these strains that are now here that our doctors and hospitals are actually fighting. Pretty strange. Yeah, I know. I had to show this is on medium.com. Check it out. This is a delightful story. I mean, this dude, he just comes out and makes the case, man, yeah, it's crazy out there, but it always has been. But look at some of the cool stuff that we got. I always like to present fair and balanced, right? So Richie of Boston and his experiment, which is, we're going to talk about it today, is how can he not focus in on a building that's less than 5 miles away on his camera when he can, in fact, focus in extremely clearly with an object that is reportedly 238,000 miles away. Well, it's a good question. We're going to talk about it tonight. But there is a thing called gravitational microlensing, and it basically says this: our atmosphere acts as a super conducting lens. That's what they say. And it's why our earthbound telescopes can see as far into the heavens they have. So we're going to talk more about this as well. Designer babies, anybody? It's coming. I think this is the next and the last thing. And by the way, those of you that go through the Holland Tunnel there in New York and New Jersey, yeah, right under your nose, there is a new cable that's being installed. And this one is powered by quantum mechanics to protect critical banking data from potential spies using a fiber optic cable. Weird. I don't know. I'd say that that's just getting a little odd, isn't it? Quantum. And I remember someone writing me and saying, well, quantum is just a theory. No, it's not a theory. It's a practical application. It's just, once again, it's those things that we can't see. Splitting an atom. How'd they do that? And then look at the mess they made after that. So anyway. All right, folks. Weird day, isn't it? How's the energy on your end? For me, I got to tell you, it's been very, very odd. So the question that I posed in this video, are we getting out? Or are we getting back in? And I've had some wonderful emails from a lot of you in this question. Is this truly the death cycle that you and I are in? You and I are interacting on this physical plane, but in fact is not this reality predicated and built upon death. Now that opens up a whole lot of thinking. If you say, for instance, that the spirit is created at birth, well, then you're talking about a finite spirit. No way that it could ever be eternal. I mean, these are the options we have. And so if that's the option, you go with that, the evidence would suggest that when you die in this death realm, you go back to the nothingness. You don't exist anymore. Nothing about your memory, nothing about you, nothing about anything that is you. Now that's frightening. My wife and I were talking about this last night, and she says, that's more frightening than hell or heaven. And we don't believe in either, but taking for the context of how many people do. In that scenario, hell would be a welcome alternative, no matter what the definition of it is. Think about it. To go back to the nothingness. I did a video on that. I'm going to do another one. YouTube banned it, couldn't advertise on it, and it's age restricted. So I obviously stepped on someone's proverbial tongue. I don't know who, but they didn't like it. But that's a frightening, I think, worst case scenario. Now, the other scenario would entail then that we are eternal. We have no beginning, we have no end. We are God. We're living manifestations of the very construct of what a deity would be. We are deities. It's the only way you can boil it down. Now, do we as gods purposely subject ourselves to a death cycle? Are we in a death cycle here, waiting for a body to be manifested, created, waiting for us when we step over? Do we step over in basically what would be considered the, essence of your being, your spirit, neither physical, something that's ethereal? Is that how it's defined? Don't know. I mean, I'm looking forward to this more and more as I think about it. I used to be deathly afraid of death. How many of you can relate to that? It was such a freaking fear control thing with Christianity. I mean, they got you screwed, man. Right when you sign on it, and that sign is that public declaration that you made. I accept, and the rest of it is there. And I tell you, if you want to cleanse yourself, you need to make a public declaration that you serve no God of any religion, of any construct made of man in any thought or form. You need to declare your sovereignty. Reject all gods, all religions, and walk away from it. Can you do that? Because the reason why most can't is that they're afraid of what's going to happen to them at death. And so you're already held captive no matter what you do. Now, when you get to the point where you realize that that's all fantasy, there's no truth in it, it's all made up. And when you begin to cleanse yourself of that and flush that out of you, death isn't something to be dreaded. You should begin to look at it with great anticipation. Because no matter how we look at it, we're either getting out or we're getting back in. Weird kind of reality, isn't it? But That's what it appears to be. And I guess the thing that has to begin to be asked is, what is the difference? I mean, could you put one of us in the midst of, let's say, 1 million who believe in a control matrix for the next part of the afterlife? You're already contaminated in their sense. You would not, your energy would be an exact polar opposite. It would repel. Think about it. If consciousness is defined by what we focus in our memories are built upon, the core values are extrapolated thereof, then that would say that we're preparing for, whether it be real, created, or imagined, whatever the case may be, when you step through the veil to the other side. And what is that reality going to be? Someone asked me, well, what happens if if you died and you actually went to hell? I said, well, hell doesn't exist. You keep putting something in this afterlife that's all attributed to physicality. What you're saying, and I questioned this person, and they finally raised their hand and said, you're right. I said, what you're saying is that spirit is nothing more than physical. Read any of the stories. They're preposterous. But yet, so many of us, that's exactly where we are. Now, I'm happy to say, for myself, I'm looking forward to this. In fact, as you begin to get rid of the chains, and they're hidden ones, we are great at booby trapping ourselves. I mean, each and every one of us, many of us spent decades learning how to sabotage ourselves. And so many are still in that psychic cycle. They seem to advance, and then inevitably they do something that sets them back. But when you get to that point and you realize there's no God, people say, well, are you an atheist? No, I'm not an atheist. There is what I term the all. I don't know what that is, because there is something that's even, I have it on my whiteboard, and it says right here, you can see it. God is the construct of the infinite being. If man constructed the concept of God, throw it out. It's limited, finite. There's something even above that. And when you can get yourself into that plane, then things begin to kind of make sense. Death, all right, fine. I'm already in it. And if I go to the nothingness, what does it matter? If there's something other than that proves out that I'm in fact on that track, and there's millions like me out there, more being added all the time, that whoa, wait a minute. And this is the proclamation. Show me a God. Show me any God. You can't. People say, well, he lives within. Oh, really? Isn't it odd how we can say that, but if you hear a person who says, I hear voices within, they're going to put you on medication. So, wow, was not intending to get off on that, but I guess it needs to be said. These are the things, folks, that weigh us down. The departure, how many of you have seen Dustin Hoffman in the Wonderful Emporium, Mr. Megorium's Wonderful Emporium. Dustin Hoffman played a great role in that movie. And because as Mr. Megorium realized, now he had lived hundreds and hundreds of years, but he knew his exact departure date. And it wasn't one of sadness. It wasn't one of fear. It wasn't one of trepidation. It was one of great excitement. And that's how I hope all of you become. It allows you to live your life much more freer here, whatever this, if we call this life. Because the other part's going to take care of itself anyway, darling. Just, that you don't have to be concerned about. And if that's true, if I know I've got a ticket, I don't know which train, I don't know which plane, I don't know which spaceship yet, but I got a ticket. Well, two things I can do. I can go and just wait for the ticket to be called. Many do, most do. Or I can be like an explorer and begin to get my trunk ready, baby. Just a thought. And it's wonderful. Let's see. What has Marion said? Can't be impossible with nothingness. Recognize how you can still feel anything when you are in the nothingness. You know, Marion, love to have you on, dear, because most people can't handle the nothingness. But I contend, if you look at all possibilities, the nothingness holds much more validity than many constructs. People say, well, when I die, my energy goes back to the collective. Baby. I could say you're going back to the nothingness. Because the nothingness is where the collective came from. I think the nothingness is where everything came from. You see, people can't handle it. Are you saying, Wayne, that I ain't going to remember myself? I don't know. I'm just saying, get your trunk ready. Get the things. You're going on an expedition, baby. You're going on the cosmic ride. I don't believe in coming back here. And if that's the case, well, then they're going to have to knock my sorry ass out and shove me back in, but in any case, who knows? All right, folks, I'm going to cut this a little short. I guess sometimes you just go with the flow, right? I mean, the energy was flowing and it's a wonderful energy. So I'm just taking it that, hey, if one person needed to hear this, that's cool. I don't know how many people respond to it. Well, there's 2 that didn't like it. So that's cool. I contend that those are the Autobots, because in my reality, we're all in the same flow here. I mean, otherwise, what are we doing? Going, hi, how you doing? Yeah, see you on the other side. Like the hell you will. But anyway. All right, folks, be good to yourself. Thank you. I just invoke favor upon you, folks. It's getting kind of cool when you think about it. Yeah, you look outside our environment. Yeah, it's getting freaky weird. But you know what? At least it's not boring. We're in no way bored. Got plenty of stimulation, whether artificial or real or otherwise. So enjoy it. You're beautiful. Thank you for being here. Thank you for sharing your energy with me. I hope I've enriched your life back. And I know this, we got a great community here. I mean, if you're in here, then you're one of the really, exactly, Scott, you're one of the groovy. No, that's Robin. You're one of the groovy people, but Scott was, I think, was thinking of the same thing. Much love to you all. Thank you. Thank you. Tonight with Dr. Claudia Albers, we'll be talking with our physicist. Tomorrow, I think Patrick will be with us. I really do hope so. He wrote me an email and was very grateful for everyone that gave him the healing thoughts. It moved him. Of course it would. It moved me too. So thank you for doing that. The rest of you, enjoy life. We'll see you back here tomorrow, later on the day. Either way, it's fun. All right, no drama llama, right? That's what I say. I'm not going to cut myself off. I'm just going to do my pose. This is the thinker pose. Bye, guys.